Thanks, Clive. Coming up on tonight's programme. Plans to almost triple the size of the Wimbledon tennis site can go ahead. The ruling from a High Court judge today. Campaigners vow to continue their fight against it.
Well, obviously extreme disappointment. However, this is not the end of the road. We have already put in an appeal on ground one of the judge's decision.
Also on the programme, serious disruption for Waterloo passengers after a major signal failure. Train companies told commuters not to travel, so how is it affecting this evening's rush hour? The family from Romford left without a lift for more than 3 months as they try to care for their disabled son. And we meet Loki, the Harris's hawk, who's causing a flutter among the city's pigeons. Good evening. Plans to almost triple the size of the Wimbledon tennis site are a step closer today. A High Court judge has dismissed a campaign group's legal challenge. They'd unsuccessfully argued the development was unlawful. Under the proposals, the existing site, you can see it here in blue, would be expanded to the area in red. There'll be 38 new courts and an 8,000-seater stadium. But campaigners say they will continue to fight and take their case to the Court of Appeal. Assad Ahmed is in Wimbledon this evening. Assad.
Sonia, I'm at Wimbledon Park. The area behind me is the area which in a few years' time could be transformed as a result of today's court judgment. Before I tell you a bit more about that, though, let me tell you a bit more about this, because what this isn't, and this has confused a few people, the campaign has not been about being against the All England Lawn Tennis Club and the Wimbledon Championships as we know and love them. They've been taking place here since 1877. It has been about the club expanding onto this public land, building tennis courts here and a stadium as well. And what local people say is they don't want this public land taken over by the club, and they certainly don't want an estimated 10 years of disruption while that transformation takes place. Barry Caffrey has more on this.
The campaign group Save Wimbledon Park had taken legal action against the Greater London Authority over its decision last year to approve the expansion plans. In a ruling this afternoon, Mr. Justice Saini dismissed the challenge.
Campaigners argued in court that the proposals to build 38 new tennis courts and an 8,000-seat stadium on the site of the former Wimbledon Park golf course just behind me was unlawful because the land was protected. But the All England Club and the Greater London Authority defended the challenge, with the court being told the decision was a planning judgment properly exercised.
The chair of the All England Club, Deborah Jevons, CBE, said they were delighted that the judge dismissed the challenge to the GLA's decision to grant planning permission for the plans to transform the former Wimbledon Park golf course. Earlier this month, barristers for Save Wimbledon Park told the High Court the decision to approve the plans was irrational and should be quashed, as Wimbledon Park, a Grade 2 listed heritage site, was covered by restrictions on how it could be used.
Well, obviously extreme disappointment. However, this is not the end of the road. We have already put in an appeal on ground one of the judge's decision, and we still have the statutory trust case, which will be January 2026, and the covenants. So we've still got a long, long way to go. We finished set one of this second legal battle, but only set one.
The proposals would see 7 maintenance buildings, access points and an area of parkland with permissive public access constructed, in addition to the courts and associated infrastructure. It would also allow the club to host Wimbledon qualifiers on site. Campaigners now say they will make an application for permission to appeal the decision to the Court of Appeal.
Yeah, so campaigners feeling like they may have lost the battle, but certainly not lost the war. We heard from Save Wimbledon Park campaigner in Barry's report there. A couple of other things they said which was quite interesting. One thing they said is that this is, as in the court judgment, a worrying precedent for the unwanted development of protected green belt and public open spaces around London and across the country. By that, they're basically saying that this could have far-reaching repercussions and consequences for green belt and open spaces around the country, well beyond the perimeter of Wimbledon Park. Another thing that they said was that they hope the tennis club can be persuaded to engage constructively with us with a view to achieving a resolution. Well, if a resolution does come about through discussions, that means both sides have to give ground a bit. That means a new solution has to be found. What could that new solution be? Well, I'm not sure, but it's certainly nothing that has been worked out yet. I don't know whether the All England Tennis Club will want to speak to campaigners. They have, after all, just won today's court case. But never say never. You don't have to really read between the lines to know that this case is far from over. Sonia.
Indeed, Asad, thank you. Well, that's our top story, but lots more to come, including Downing Street condemns unacceptable disorder in Essex as 6 are arrested after protests at an asylum seeker hotel. And fruit and veg on prescription. A project in Tower Hamlets has been hailed a life-changing success. Thousands of Londoners have faced severe disruption to their rail journeys today after a major signalling failure this morning shut down most of the platforms at Waterloo Station. It meant very few trains were able to move in and out, and South Western Railway warned of delays throughout the day, telling passengers not to travel to the station. Well, our transport correspondent Tom Edwards has the story.
A bad start to the week at Waterloo Station, where commuters were told not to travel after a fault with the signalling system. And it meant a frustrating start to the summer holidays for some.
We were meant to be going to Bournemouth. We arrived we were going on the 9:35, and we arrived at 9:10? Got our tickets, and then delays, and it was pushed back. They said by 10:30. Now it's saying maybe 4 o'clock. These guys are meant to be visiting their grandparents, pretty upset. And it's just frustrating not to know when. So I think we've decided, we live in Vauxhall, so we've now decided we'll go home.
It's taken me a lot longer, yes.
And how frustrating is that?
It's fairly frustrating, but today it isn't the end of the world for me.
Others weren't quite sure what was going on.
I'm not too sure what train I'm getting. I'm supposed to be going to Salisbury, but everything's cancelled at the moment, so who knows how long I'll be here.
Is it frustrating?
Yes, very.
I've got a friend who's not very well in hospital and I haven't seen her for a while, so I'm trying to catch up with her. So,
well, good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
It seems the problem was the equipment that controls the signalling into platforms 1 to 14 failed, and that's why Network Rail issued a do not travel order. It's just coming up to 11 o'clock and we've just been told that problem has now been fixed.
Network Rail apologised to passengers. The same problem has happened before.
It's not the first time this has happened. It happened on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a technical fault that we're working hard on throughout the weekend. Happened Saturday morning. We recovered it through Saturday afternoon and Sunday, and then failed again this morning. So we got to proper root cause this morning, have fixed it, and are really confident that we've got to that and making sure that it's now reliable going forward.
Services started to recover by late morning, albeit with some disruption. A difficult day on the railway.
Well, Tom is still at Waterloo Station for us this evening. Tom, what's the advice for commuters travelling tonight?
Well, it's actually looking okay. If we have a look at the boards, you might be able to make out there's a handful of delays, handful of cancellations, but most of the services seem to be running okay now, and it feels like things are getting back to normal. There's actually a Meet the Manager event on the concourse where the managers are talking to the passengers. I spoke to one of the managers down there and he said he expects services to get back to normal by about 9 o'clock tonight, but perhaps worth checking before you travel for tomorrow's rush hour. Back to you, Sonia.
OK, Tom, thank you for the update. Downing Street has said the disorder outside a hotel used to house asylum seekers in Essex at the weekend was clearly unacceptable. 6 people have been arrested following the latest protest outside the Bell Hotel in Epping, where bottles and smoke flares were thrown towards police vehicles. It followed the arrest and charge of an asylum seeker last week on suspicion of alleged sexual assaults. The local MP spoke today of their shock.
We have had numerous major protests involving hundreds of people and with injuries to police officers and damage to police vehicles. People quite rightly have the right to peaceful protest, but these violent scenes are not us. They are not Epping, and they are not what we stand for. I want to thank Essex Police for all that they are doing to keep us safe in these challenging and distressing times for our town.
Black women in the UK are almost 3 times more likely to die during childbirth compared with white women, according to the latest figures. Now, a new report has been looking into their experiences and calls for urgent action to reform maternity care. The research is by the organisation 5 Times More, and Alpa Patel has been looking at the findings. Alpa.
Thank you, Sonia. Yes, national figures have shown for years that black women and babies die in pregnancy and childbirth at higher rates. They also show that they experience the most serious birth complications. Well, this report looked at their first-hand experiences of those women. This is Shehi Bakari's story. She experienced significant problems in her pregnancies, including with her second child, Iyanu.
We called the ambulance, we called the midwife. The midwife was a bit blasé on the phone, so we called the helpline. She was like, oh yeah, come in whenever you can. But she didn't highlight the urgency of how much blood I was losing. And then even when the ambulance came, there was like 2 or 3 ambulances there. And they were just really laid back about it. Hey, oh, have you delivered the baby? And have you delivered the baby? And it was not really taken seriously at the fact that I was 36 weeks pregnant. I was bleeding a lot. I was like losing lots and lots of blood. And by the time we got to the hospital, unfortunately, I heard those sad words that I'm so sorry, we can't find a heartbeat. Had the ambulance service taken me to the hospital a lot quicker, she probably would still be here. The report speaks for itself. Black women are not getting the care that they deserve. And it speaks for all women. If you fix the care for black women, you fix the care for everybody.
Campaigners say today's report is the largest of its kind, hearing from over 1,000 black and mixed-race women. It found over half experienced challenges with healthcare professionals. 23% did not receive requested pain relief. And of that number, 40% were given no explanation as to why. 1 in 4 reported discrimination, which they believed was due to their race. While the charity behind this report says things have got to change.
I think it's really important that we are working together to ensure that the voices of the women who are very much affected are heard. So, for example, training on specific conditions that disproportionately affect black women and how they can advocate for themselves when they're going in. At the moment, the Health and Select Committee is conducting an inquiry into black maternal health as we speak. You know, we've had the recent announcements from the Secretary of State on the maternity investigations and the subsequent task force that's going to come out, and underpinning that, they want to make sure that inequalities is a focus there. The time definitely is now.
NHS England told us that it is unacceptable that black mothers and their babies are experiencing disparities in care. It said it will work with the independent investigation, which has been launched, to learn and deliver changes. And for black women, the hope is that those changes translate into meaningful and urgent action. Sonia.
Alpa, thank you. Well, let's have a brief look at some of the rest of the day's news now. A 32-year-old woman has been arrested after reports she assaulted staff and customers while shouting anti-Semitic abuse at a central London cafe. The Met Police said officers were called to Baker Street on Thursday afternoon. The woman was released on bail pending further inquiries. The Mayor of London has been cleared of wrongdoing in accepting free tickets worth around £3,000 to a Taylor Swift concert. Sir Sadiq Khan watched with his family from a VIP box at Wembley last summer. An independent investigation concluded he did not breach any code of conduct. And Southend Council is to investigate how part of a tree collapsed in a park 3 weeks after a young girl from East London was killed by a falling branch. 7-year-old Leona Ruka died at Chalkwell Park on June the 28th. The latest incident happened 2 miles away at Priory Park. A family from Romford say they have been left to carry their disabled son up and down 5 floors in their block of flats for more than 3 months now because the lift is broken. 4-year-old Alexander has a condition called spinal muscular atrophy and uses a wheelchair. The Housing Association says it's working hard to repair the lift. Alexander's family say it's having a huge impact on their lives, as Wendy Hurrell reports.
Alexander, who's 4, loves to play in the park with his little brother Lawrence, close to the family's flat in Romford. He has a genetic condition called spinal muscular atrophy, for which he is receiving a life-saving gene therapy. To get around, he uses a nimble manual wheelchair and is further enabled by his WYSIBUG electric wheels. But he and his family live on the 5th floor and have been disabled by a broken lift. It hasn't been working for nearly 4 months.
The WYSIBUG is 25 kilograms. His manual wheelchair is about 10 kilograms as well. Both of them are not built to carry. And unfortunately, we can't get them up the stairs.
4 days a week, mum Victoria is on her own with the boys as dad Eric works abroad.
Because Alexander doesn't bear weight on his own, is able to stand, I pick him up from the car and then I have to grab Lawrence and then sort of double lift them.
Up 5 floors?
Yeah,
6.
so we're 6 because
6
we park in the basement. And then obviously once you're up, you can't really go anywhere, which is such a shame because if the lift was working, you could pop out.
What do you think about the lift?
Broken.
Broken.
I don't like it.
Yeah, do you think it's a bit tough for Mummy? Yeah.
The building is managed by Sanctuary, a not-for-profit housing association. A spokesperson apologised for the disruption and inconvenience, adding, "We are working hard to resolve what is a complex repair and we're committed to bringing the lift back into service as quickly as possible."
So it's not that the management company is not doing anything at all. It took them 5 weeks to get access to the electric works of the lift. 13 weeks in, we had an engineer that came thinking it was a call out for first day lift outage without having all the history. So I think that part is mismanaged.
Victoria bought the leasehold when the flats were completed in 2016. Because of an ongoing issue with cladding, they can't sell, so they're effectively trapped.
We have, as leaseholders, no rights to challenge that entire process. Ultimately, the leaseholder is paying for all the repairs, so why can't we have a say in this and why can't we push for a quick resolution?
And the situation is becoming critical for Alexander and his family.
He's scheduled to have hip surgery, and they will put 2 pins on either hip, which also means that he has bruising, scars, pain, and we're not allowed to carry him.
So they may have to pay for alternative accommodation. Meanwhile, there doesn't seem to be a timescale for when the broken lift will be fixed. Wendy Hurrell, BBC London.
Well, lots more to come, including we'll meet Loki, the Harris hawk, commuting into the city and causing a flutter among the city's pigeons. Now, you've heard the saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. But is it true? Well, a charity in Tower Hamlets says a project offering fruit and veg vouchers to Londoners on low incomes has cut GP appointments and improved both physical and mental health. It says the scheme should be expanded, as Victoria Cook reports.
Put one in there for me, darling. Oh no, I've already got one, I just want one more.
Eating healthy is the norm for Aggie now, but only a year ago she'd just been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure. Then she was prescribed fruit and veg, and after 9 months saw huge improvements.
I say it all the time, it's been life-changing for me. I'm taking less medication, you know, they've changed my diabetes medication twice, and hopefully by the next time I go, I can come off it completely. Yes, yeah, do 2 bags for me, please.
The Fruit and Veg Prescription Project, funded by the local authority, has been a real success since it started 3 years ago. 80% of those on it say they feel healthier and say they're visiting the doctor much less. The scheme is very simple, so for those who get the vouchers, they can come down to their local markets, and if they see a sign that looks a bit like the voucher behind me, they can exchange it for fruit and vegetable on the stall, and each voucher's worth £1.
It's sort of a bit of a no-brainer, really. You know, obviously medication has its place and is very important, but if we can keep people healthy by changing their lifestyle and enabling them to be able to look after themselves that way, that makes a massive difference to their physical and their mental health.
Prescriptions for fruit and veg come from here at the Bromley by Bow Centre. People can be prescribed all sorts of things here to improve health, including exercise and gardening. But staff say it's the fruit and veg prescriptions which have made the biggest difference.
One of the single most biggest impacts that we've seen on individuals, we're taking away that decision and that choice that people have to make in our communities, whether they want to pay for fruit and vegetables or pay for their heating.
The project hasn't just been a success for those eating the fruit and veg, it's been a winner for those selling it too. In the last few years, £40,000 worth of fruit and veg has been sold through the vouchers at the Crisp Street Market in Bow.
In Tower Hamlets, it's one of the most deprived boroughs in the country. Many people can't afford to eat a healthy diet, and that's making them really unwell. But these problems aren't just in Tower Hamlets. There are millions of people across the UK who are struggling to eat healthy food.
And it's for that reason the charity are now calling on government to adopt the idea nationally, so more people can have fruit and veg on prescription. Victoria Cook, BBC London.
Now, take a look at these. Girl Guides can now earn 72 new badges for activities such as fandoms, being a booktivist and sharing their guiding sparkle. But it's only the second time in the long history of girl guiding that new badges have been added to the list of awards, and it comes after calls to broaden the group's focus and include activities such as environmental conservation and building confidence. Next, this is Loki. He's a young Harris Hawk and he's just started a brand new job in central London. And that means, like many of us, he's been commuting on the tube. Here's his handler, Jess Papworth, to explain.
We do get a few funny looks. A lot of people think that we're just taking our hawk for a walk as opposed to doing any work. You'll probably find us around King's Cross Station, Westminster Cathedral, anywhere around Victoria. We're protecting the buildings from the pigeons and everything that comes with that. In their travel boxes, the sound is quite muffled. They can't see out of it either. They just relax in there.
My worst fear is walking off of the tube and just leaving the box behind. It's never happened, it will never happen.
I've always been a very animal-based person. It was very nerve-wracking at first, to be honest. You just have to spend time with them, you have to love them. Having him in my house, on my arm all the time. If I need to go and make a cup of tea or empty the dishwasher, I've got a bird on my arm whilst I'm doing it. Then we start going outside, getting him used to traffic, people, and then we start the flying process.
So I've had Loki from 16 weeks old, so we've been training for the last 8 months. This will be his first time at such a big landmark in central London.
Do you think he's ready?
He's absolutely ready. Generally, people think that the hawks are here to go and catch the pigeons and that we're trying to kill them. We're absolutely not trying to do that. So they are just a natural deterrent. Putting a bird of prey in the area will stop them from nesting. I think he done really well. He chased a big group of pigeons off. It was kind of like the beginning, the first time that I let him go and took the line off. I was nervous for him. Maybe he picked up on that a little bit. He done really well and he flew really nicely, and yeah, I'm really proud of him.
Oh, isn't he gorgeous? Time for a look at the weather now. Here's Kate. And Kate, I've been watching the skies, not for birds so much, but just trying to dodge the showers, really.
It's a bit of a change, I have to say, in comparison to the last few weeks. It was certainly a very unsettled weekend. Some much needed rain, however. Now, these were the totals. They were recorded from 7 p.m. on Friday evening through to 10 o'clock this morning. The rain, great for gardeners and growers, but we've had more today. Not consistent rain, but a few showers, a few breaks in the cloud there, as you can see. And the temperature actually, if you had the sunshine today, got up to 25.7 Celsius at Heathrow. But plenty of rainbows around as well, some really quite heavy showers. Now, the Met Office has a yellow weather warning. It's been in place all day for thunderstorms. We didn't see too many lightning strikes this morning, but they've started to come through this afternoon. There's still a few around as we head into the evening. But on the whole, these showers are going to clear out of the way. So becoming dry, some clear spells, bit of patchy cloud. It is quite a mild night, though. The minimum temperature 14 to 16 Celsius. So if you're up early, a bright start first thing tomorrow. You might just get a little bit of sunshine, but you can see the cloud is going to filter in fairly quickly, and then comes the showers. More of those to dodge, I'm afraid, through tomorrow. Some sharp ones around as well, but again, some sunny spells, which in turn sparking off some showers. Temperatures tomorrow around 22 or 23 Celsius. Now, as we head overnight, Tuesday and into Wednesday, just down here, we've got a ridge of high pressure which starts to extend towards us. Should squeeze most of those showers out, and things do start to settle a little bit. However, we've got further showers. Once those clear in the morning, we've got another band coming through. They could be heavy south of the M4. Chances are you might hear some rumbles of thunder in those sharper ones. Some sunny spells, though. Temperatures again similar, a northerly flow at around 22 or 23 Celsius. Now, for Wednesday, overnight into Thursday, this ridge continues to build. Now, for Thursday itself, we still could get a little bit of light rain, some drizzle in the morning, but it should start to brighten up, become a little bit clearer by the end of Thursday. Temperatures 23. Now, by the time we get towards Friday and Saturday, still the chance of an isolated shower, but largely dry as we head towards the end of the week, with temperatures getting up to around 26 Celsius. So gradually, as we head towards the end of this week, those temperatures start to get a little bit warmer and is a little bit drier. Sonia.
Wonderful. Kate, thank you. Now, the main headlines. The UK government is calling for an immediate end to the war in Gaza in a joint statement co-signed by 20 other countries, including France, Italy and Australia. The water regulator for England and Wales is to be abolished. A government review has also called for more ombudsman powers and measures to tackle excessive water company dividends. And plans to expand the Wimbledon tennis site are set to proceed after a campaign group's legal challenge was dismissed by the High Court. 38 new courts and an 8,000-seat stadium are proposed. And that's all we have time for, but do take a look at our website and the BBC News app for much more, including on those latest on the Wimbledon expansion plans. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.